And now McCree and Lyons, they'll run with Mayava. Jaden Mayava skates in, touchdown.
All right. Now, I think we all agree we love college football. But we only kind of had it on Tuesday. We didn't really preview a whole lot of stuff. I think this is a perfect opportunity for it, especially with Texas OU coming up soon.
It's OU Texas. That's how you say it.
I'm sorry about that.
You know what's crazy? Adrian always corrects me. I'm an OU fan. I still say Texas OU. I don't know why. Even though alphabetically it's supposed to be the other way.
I will give the team, if Texas wins the game, which they did last year, I will concede for a year it can be Texas OU, if you want to say it that way. But in my heart, it's always OU Texas.
Okay. I did not mean it as a slight.
It's a first Thursday segment, and Kevin's putting us off on a bad foot.
All right, let's try to fix it. Is it Vanderbilt, Alabama? I guess I kind of want to know if Houston is any good. If you had to focus in on one game that is the most intriguing to you, what is it and why?
I think it's Florida State, Miami is still my number one. That'll be the night game on, I think, ABC. That one is just fascinating because I was thinking about this for our Fan University show this upcoming Saturday, talking about what have you been the most wrong about throughout the first month of the season.
It's a good segment.
And I'm debating, is it how good I thought Clemson would be when they're not, or how I thought Miami would stink, and now I think they're a top 2 team in the country.
Yeah.
Because Miami has been supremely impressive. I love their lines of scrimmage. I love their weapons. I love their quarterback. Which is something I never thought I'd say about Carson Beck.
I was going to say.
He's been phenomenal.
Yeah. That quarterback, man, if we talk about people who have changed perception on them year over year, I feel like Carson Beck is really high, if not on the top of that list.
And he's talked about how he feels now like he's learned he doesn't have to be everything for the offense. And that's he did too much when he was with Georgia last year. After he lost a couple weapons, but now he's got great receivers, he's got a good running back, and the defense for Miami was such a liability last year, and they have completely turned that into a massive strength. So them going on the road to Florida State, they're coming off the loss to Virginia with one of the wildest field storms you'll ever see in your life. I still think about that.
Yes.
But Florida State, they had an awful day tackling in that game on defense. It was dreadful. Their offense still outgained Virginia by 70, 80 yards on the road. It was over 500 yards of offense for the Florida State team. So, I'm not completely writing them off. It was a double overtime loss. It was a crazy game on the road. I don't think Florida State is a 11-1 going to win the national title team. But I also don't think they're 6-6. I don't just want to immediately flip with them. So I think those are two very good teams that we're going to see on Saturday night, and they're rivals too.
Now, I picked that specific highlight because ESPN came out with their Power 4 quarterback rankings, and USC tops the list, followed by Pavia from Vanderbilt at second. Who has been y'all's most impressive quarterback so far of the college season? Because I think Fernando Mendoza from Indiana is probably in the conversation as well.
Yeah, for sure. And he was a guy that I didn't really think much of at Cal last year. I know he had a decent season, but I didn't think he would go to Indiana and have the success that he had. I think it's amazing they put Trinidad Chambliss at number 3, who's the former Ferris State quarterback who's moved to Ole Miss.
Ferris State, huh?
And the thing about him is, he won a lot at Ferris State, national championships at the D2 level. I know that's not going up against SEC tier talent, future NFL players, but you're still winning at a high level. And I think that's what's helped him have the success at Ole Miss, along with Lane Kiffin is a good offensive mind. So that's helped him translate really well. But I biased, I'll say John Mateer. There were a lot of questions about him coming from Wazoo to Oklahoma, if he could succeed at the Power 4 level. And unfortunately, we won't get to see him this weekend. But, through the first 4 games of the season, he's basically been everything that's advertised. And C.J. Carr at Notre Dame, they're 2-2 now, lose their first 2 games. But as a freshman making his first couple starts, he was very, very good in those games.
In one of those losses, they scored 40 points.
Yeah.
But for Mateer, he's only 12 on the list because of what you referenced. The injuries make it trickier.
What do you feel about Jalen Daniels out of Kansas? Is that just kind of schedule based, or
I've just been out on him for a long time because he could never stay healthy, and it was always, if he stays healthy. Well, he couldn't, and then he finally has stayed healthy, and he hasn't lived up to a lot of the potential that a lot of people thought he had, because Kansas already has 2 losses, and last year he had just a dreadful start. He got better as the season went along, but he was dreadful to start last season. So him, I know he can run, I know he can throw. He's in his 6th season, I think. He's been at Kansas the whole time. He didn't come from anywhere else. He started at Kansas. He's going to end his career at Kansas, which for a single player to stay at a school for 6 years in this era is just kind of wild.
I just like that 16-2 touchdown to interception ratio.
That is very impressive.
And a lot of times when we look at those like histories, like Sam Bradford, his Heisman Trophy year, he had 4 interceptions or something ridiculous. So you were just like, good gosh.
Now, if he has,
what about Raiola? Is he good? Is he?
Man,
or is he just? Well, I'm not.
what a
confused on
loaded
this guy.
question, because at times vary. At other times you're like, huh.
I think he is so much better than what Nebraska had before that people think he's awesome. And I don't think he's awesome. I think he has limitations. I think he holds onto the ball too long, for sure. I think he gets cute with his throwing motion, and he misses easy passes. In the couple games I've seen, there's just times where he doesn't seem. He wants to make the best play possible when he just needs to make the simple play.
Right play.
And I think that's hurt them, especially in the Michigan game a couple weeks ago. So he's a million times better than what Nebraska's been rolling out for the last, 25 years, it seems like. But I still think there's limitations with it, and you've seen that against Michigan. I think you'll see it again later down the season.
Why isn't South Carolina any good at offense? They have LaNorris Sellers, who we talked about could at least have been in the mix still for QB1 going into the draft. They have a whole bunch of starters back. They have not gotten to 400 yards of offense in any game so far this season. 64 other FBS teams have been there. And that's somebody that I had really high hopes for. I'm not saying it's just his fault, but that offense has been hugely disappointing.
It has been. Their offensive line has not been good. Their run game has been similarly bad. They lose Sanders, their lead back from last year, and they haven't really figured out who their lead guy is this year.
Right.
And they have Nick Harbor, who's an awesome, awesome athlete, can do awesome things at receiver. But even going back to last year, a lot of the offense for South Carolina was, hey, LaNorris, go do something cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, he would do it because he had better pieces around him.
Yeah.
So you lose some of that. It just has not translated so well this year. Then he gets injured against Missouri, and that just sucks. But came back last weekend, was fine. But yeah, he's at 27 on this ESPN Power 4 quarterback list. I mean, like you said, he could, potential number 1 overall draft pick.
Yeah.
But a lot of those guys from the preseason ranks, LaNorris Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning, they're Cade Klubnik at Clemson, they are all way down on this list.
So Joey Aguilar good?
I think he's a product of the system.
Oh.
So is Hendon Hooker.
That's probably.
And
Josh Heupel's a genius, is what you're saying. Guess where he went to college.
Up to a certain point.
I guess I'm really rooting for
Snow College in Utah.
I'm really rooting for Joey Aguilar because in the essential quarterback swap, he was way less of a diva along the way. And I'm like, I hope that works out. Now, you just mentioned somebody. Go ahead and give me cut number 12 if you can, Alec. What do we hope? What do Texas fans and scouts hope they see from this gentleman against Florida?
Manning coming near side, having to scramble, runs back the other way, trying to get somebody open. Stops, fires back across his body. That one's picked off for the end zone. A flag comes out around the 5-yard line.
What do we expect?
Super Bowl.
Now, put aside, you would love to see him throw 0 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Texas fans, scouts, etc. What do you want to see from Arch Manning?
I just think you want to see him look calm. I just think you don't want to see some of the hesitations. You don't want to see some of the herky-jerky stuff that you saw in some of those early games. You just want to see him go out there and look just calm and collected, and it's going to be tough in an environment like Florida. I've been to that stadium. Even when Florida's bad, it's still a loud place to play. 90,000 plus people in there, but you just want to see him look like he belongs.
And you saw
that
offense.
You saw that against Sam Houston State. So you got that against, in your final tune-up game before you start conference play. But you just don't want to see the hesitations. You don't want to see the pump fakes. You just want to see him make confident throws.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he has control or complete grasp of it all.
Okay.
Or that he's on the same page as the rest of his offense a lot of times. And it looks like sometimes they're doing one thing and he's like, oh, crap, I was supposed to do that,
Yeah, and some of the receivers maybe haven't helped him, like blocking downfield, or there's been drops as well. And there's been times when the offensive line, which is still breaking in new players, has been not up to snuff, but, you're hoping through the first 4 games. You figured some things out. You saw the fruits of that in your last game. You get a bye week to further look at the film, check things out, and then go on the road. And Florida's struggling, man. I mean, that is G-Bag was talking about it yesterday. Desperate team theory is probably what you're worrying about with them. But it has been a struggle bus on offense for Florida the entire season. Another guy who we had high hopes for, DJ Lagway at quarterback, has stunk this season. And that's Billy Napier's specialty is offense. They're a good defensive team, but Florida's offense is just dreadful.
Kevin, I want to make an announcement.
Okay.
Because my friend, our guy, Brett Vito, wrote this story. UNT's president announced Wednesday that the school will end classes at noon next Friday because of their kickoff at 6:30 against South Florida. And I think that's very important because whenever the president of the school says we're saying school class is canceled early so that we can watch football, that means they're committed. They're committed to the football program.
Are their
UNT.
fans committed to showing up?
I hope so. I'm actually looking into seeing how many of these tickets I can pull to purchase, obviously.
Oh, I
because
get
it goes to my university.
I get it.
But yeah, they said we're cutting school early. I love it.
There's been a movement on Twitter that I've seen to try and just get as many people out to the stadium as possible. UNT's never sold that game out, or that stadium out in its history. It's maybe 15 years old at this point.
Really?
So, but this is against South Florida. This has got to be the biggest game in school history.
Eric Chiafalo
I
is in
did
the
not
room.
touch your food.
No, I know you didn't. That's because I haven't left it out of my sight since I got here. I just want to say credit to my alma mater. Our
alma mater.
Alma mater.
Going green.
But if you have classes on Fridays, you're doing school wrong anyways.
You're
you are
dead on.
totally doing college wrong.
Somebody said college doesn't have classes on Friday. They definitely do.
The
It's
smart
just you
people
try
just don't
to
schedule their classes on
schedule it
Friday.
away from that.
You go to art school, so you have Monday, Wednesdays, and Tuesday, Thursdays, like I did.
By Thursday at like 3:30 in the afternoon, it's the weekend. It's what it is.
So midway through y'all's show, more earlier than midway through your show, it's the freaking weekend. man.
For college. For
Yeah.
college.
So that's when the
That's all I'm
tailgating
saying.
starts for this UNT South Florida game next Thursday. Around this time, you guys start drinking. We'd sell out DATQ Stadium, and we go beat South Florida.
Ooh, could we call it what you drinking? We've stopped thinking.
Yes.
All right. Something
Yes.
to consider. Thank you
See you
very
guys.
much for jumping in there. And Carter, thanks to you. Where can people hear you this weekend?
Be on Fan University 9 to noon. We will have Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire. We recorded an interview with him earlier this morning, so we'll talk to him at 9:40. We'll be previewing all the big games, and like I said earlier this week, you might think it's a slow week in college football. It's not. There's always something to talk about, always something to get excited about. So listen to us 9 to noon this Saturday.
Love it.